Press to standing and move back around facing the front. Now, I do this in Yogalesque a lot, and it feels kind of strange, but I want you to try to get into the sensation of it for you. Touch your hands, because we're so numb. You know what I mean? Like, our society is just so numb to so many things. So try to be aware of the sensation of your hands touching each other. And if you want to close your eyes, you can. And then just trace your fingers down your palm and just feel that sensation of touch. And then make it a little bit deeper, coming to the elbow, sliding down. And it could be goosebumpy, it could be tickly. And I just want you to notice things about it. If you want to use your nails, you can use your nails. If you want to use the pads of your fingers, you can do that. But just notice sensation. And then, next time you're up, keep both hands up and hold your own hands and bring them to heart center. And be aware of how the fingers feel on the back of your hand. And then be aware of your thumbs touching your chest, and then just touch across your collarbones from your throat to the side of your shoulder. So you're just doing a stroke across the collarbone, and then when you get to that wide part of your shoulder, seat that head of the arm bone into the shoulder, so it's push. So what you're doing here is opening the throat, opening the heart with the touch. So it's soft and it's gentle, but it's like you're sliding that throat chakra open, sliding the heart chakra open. Good. And then keeping the hands in, crawl those fingers right up to the third eye point and do the same thing. Just gently stroke as it comes open. And you can use firm pressure or tickly pressure, it doesn't matter. But it's just physically touching that area of your body. And see how it's become kind of a meditative practice in and of itself, just feeling. And then touching those temples, and you can do like that little tappy raindrop feel. Or you can do little circles, but it's bringing sensation to the temples. And it's allowing you to feel. And then curling those fingertips up to the top of our head, and same thing, doing little raindrop taps. You know how it feels so good to have your hair brushed? I want you to kind of start doing that. You can rub your hands through your hair, you can lightly tug on your hair, you can just twizzle and circle and tickle. But I want you to make that whole scalp come alive. And your head is not frozen. If you want to rock it around, do that. If you need a deep touch, do that. It doesn't matter if it's more of a massage. Just breathe and feel that. So you've got that crown chakra. Slide those fingers towards the third eye. Make contact. Slide those fingers down to the throat and the heart. And now slide the fingers down to that solar plexus chakra. And sometimes it's hard to actually get sensation there because it's such a vulnerable part of our body. So you can push, tickle, touch. Just inhale. Keeping the hands there, forward fold. Perfect. Relax. Stay right here. Slide your hands to your hips. Touch your thighs. Touch your calves as you trace your hands down your legs to the floor. Feel the floor on your hands as you reach forward towards your down dog. And then step your feet back. And this time in your down dog, focus on feeling your hands on the mat. Focus on feeling the pressure and the sensation, just like when you were touching. Now, same thing with the head, and the eye, and the throat, and the heart. Feel those body parts. Feel that solar plexus. Now, As you tread your feet and shake your hips, try to stir up the solar plexus, the lower three chakras, the root, the navel, and bring some sensation there. And then right there in down dog, doesn't matter how far apart your feet are, I want you to start tucking and releasing the tailbone. And you'll probably need to be up on the toes a bit with the knees bent, but you're just stirring up those lower three chakras. Breathe. And then keep it tucked under. Walk the feet under. However far apart, however bent. Relax the head. Bring your hands into your feet. Slide your hands touching your feet, touching your shins, touching your thighs, coming to your back. And I want you to massage right at that place in your back, keeping your head relaxed with the back part of that navel chakra. Across the ribs, across the hips, wide and narrow, wherever it feels good. Find out where you're holding tension in those hips. And you might need to come around to the sides, and you might need to stay on your back, and you might need to move your shirt, and you might need to dig in with your fingertips. It doesn't matter. You might need to like pound. Sometimes I feel like I have to pound to bring sensation there. You might want to tickle, whatever feels good for you. Really breathe into it. Now bending those knees even more, still the hands, lift the heart forward. Come up into chair pose with your hands behind. Close your feet and move one hand in front, one hand in back. Move the pelvis 1. 2, be aware of the sensation of both hands. 3, 4, 5, and focusing on touch is hard. 6, we're not used to being aware of sensation. Hold it here, release those arms. Squeeze those inner thighs together, pressing those knees together, and just come on up. Good, grab one wrist. Now be aware of what this is doing to the sacral chakra, the navel chakra, the root chakra. Breathe into the side, arms back. And then take that freed arm, and I just want you to touch from the pink of the tinky, tip of the pinky to the shoulder, and just trace that line of energy, pulling it out. Good, now staying right here, take that free arm again, and from the top of the shoulder, trace a line to the top of the hip. And breathe.
Just dirty dancing.
It is dirty dancing. Doesn't it make you connect in a whole different way?
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool. I like it. And then inhale up. Take that other arm up and pull it over. Now same thing. Lower 3 chakras. Opening up on the side. And then take that free arm, pinky, and down. And I don't care if you go in front or if you go behind, but just feel. So it's like you're drawing the energy up and out. And then when you're done with that, same thing, root that energy. And I don't know if you saw, but the second I touched, I realized, oh, I'm collapsing.
What?
Yeah, because it's like you touch and you realize, oh, my body is doing this, so then you can adjust it, you know. And then bring it around and come all the way up and reach out, forward fold again. One more thing like that. Stay there. I'm going to face the same way as you guys. Take that right foot, step it forward, take the left foot, drop it down on the knee. Now, however you want to crawl into pigeon, crawl into pigeon. Doesn't matter what's going on with that back leg. Rock, feel comfortable through that hip. And we're going to do that same energy line. So, weight on that left hand, arm up. And this might be way too much, and that's fine. Now I want you to feel the hip on the floor or in the air, or feel where it is you're rooting in on the right. And I want you to, in your mind's eye, trace that line of energy from that root right to the tip of that pinky. Good, drop that arm down. And then just forward fold into it and rest. And again, be aware of the sensation of touching the floor. And put both hands on the floor. Press it up. Tuck that back toe, step back, and then step forward. And same thing, it doesn't matter how many steps or scoots it takes to get there. Just get there some way. Rock it, make sure you're comfy. Then root on that left side. Find your point of contact in your mind's eye, and then push up through that left arm. And see if you can trace sensation. Send the sensation from the hip all the way up the waist, all the way to those pinkies. And if you're like most people, you have dead spots. It's like you can find the hip and then there'll be a spot by your waist and you think, I just can't feel it. And if you feel a dead spot, you can touch it and be like, oh yeah, there it is. And then bring it down and just fold. All right, come up on those hands using strength. Tuck that back toe, and I don't care how ungracefully you have to get there, but get to down dog at some point. And again, feel the hands on the floor. Shake the hips out by bending and straightening one knee. Feel what the core is doing. Feel what the 3 root chakras are doing. Feel the intensity and the power and the stability of the top 3. Bless you. Thank you. And drop those knees down. Right back. Open them up and slide into child's pose. Bless you again. Thank you. All right, come up on your hands and knees and just find yourself a way to sit down. And I want you to put one foot in and lift the other foot up. And we've done this one before where you put the foot in the crook of your arm to open up the hip. Hug it in and keep it open. And after pigeon, it should be kind of open. So what I want you to do this time is keeping this foot up, and I want you to touch each toe. And I want you to feel the sensation in the foot. And same thing, just move through each toe until you're aware that you're feeling your toes. Because again, balance and proprioception and all of that means we need to feel our bodies. And when we're in shoes and socks, we can't even feel our feet on the floor. Oh yeah. And then our skin, and again, like go up the trunk of each toe. And then our skin gets numb, and we lose that mind-body connection, and we don't know where we're at in space. And then same thing, move across the ball of the foot, tickle it, tap it, do whatever you need to do. See where you're numb, use your nails. Up the arch of the foot, feeling it. And then over the heel. And yes, if you have a callus, you might have a numb spot, but just tap it and try to feel. And then the whole top of the foot. Just bring sensation, tickle, scratch. Good. Squeeze that whole foot. Squeeze the heel. Bring sensation to it. Perfect. And then taking that whole leg, step right on top of that other leg for your log stacking pose. And it doesn't matter if your log stack looks like this or like this. Palms up. And it's that foot on the top. Close your eyes. Try to be aware of the skin on the toes. The ball of the foot, the heel, the arch, the top of the foot, ankle. Move all your sensation into that foot. And just feel how different it feels from the other foot. If you'd like to do a forward fold in your log stacking pose, do it. And if you don't want to, don't. Breathe. Shoulders down, even when you're relaxing. And come on up. Take that foot down. Put the other foot up. However it feels comfortable for you. Just rock. Nice open hips. Alright, and then touching every toe. And you get to pick how you want to touch. If you want to keep working on one until it's awake, or if you want to kind of move through all of them. Just find those toes. Notice if this foot is already awake or if it's really dead in comparison. If the temperature is different. Whatever you need to do to get sensation. Ball of the foot. Arches tend to be more sensitive. Heels. Tops of the feet. Scratching, rubbing, tickling. The only thing I want you to try not to do is move that foot to create sensation. I want you to let it be completely relaxed and use your hand to create the sensation. And then when you think you've woken it up enough, move into your log stacking pose on this side, however that looks. And just same thing. Find that foot. Breathe. Be aware of it. Use your mind to feel the sensation. Try to feel the skin between each toe and where it's touching and where it's not touching. And then if you feel like forward folding, you can. And if you don't feel like it, you don't have to. And we've done a lot of hip work today. And then using your hands to press it back up. Now, both feet hopefully should be at least awake and alive. Touch them on the floor and feel that sensation of touch, just nice and light, and then a little heavier. And notice if your whole foot is hitting the floor, or just the outside, or just the inside. Notice if your toes are dead, or if you're feeling them. And then try to rock in and out, touch the tips of every toe. Rock around that whole foot. And then if you need to press your arms up and come up a different way, you can. But I'm going to try to rock and pull to standing without using my arms. Just using the whole proprioception of my body in space. Okay? So whatever works for you. And then just be aware, pull, of what it feels like to be on your feet again. Lift those toes, pinky side down, and really feel them as you come down. Notice where you're putting too much pressure. I have a tendency to put too much pressure on the outside of my right foot and do that. Yeah. So just notice where you're at. Balance it out. Feel the arch. Inhale up. Exhale, pull out. Reach forward. Feel the hands and the feet. Walk into your down dog. And breathe. Feeling both feet, both hands. Good. Walk the feet in. Walk the hands in. Exhale, and then inhale, come all the way up. Now, of course, we have to do a balance pose. So arms in your tree. Pick up one foot if this is enough, great. If you want to put it down here, great. If you want to tap your toe, great. If you want to grab it and pull it all the way up and then fall, great. Whatever works for you. Belly in. Now, be aware of what sensation you're feeling in that foot. I'm really pushing my toes down. My foot is rocking in and out a little bit. And then all of a sudden there'll be like this balance place. And then I lose it and I rock, and then there's a balance place. But I feel it. Hands at your heart center if you can. That caused me to really rock in. Yay. And then step down. And feel the exhaustion in that foot, in the muscles of that foot from that work. And just breathe. And then same thing. You can balance here. You can balance here with the toe down. Here. All the way up, it doesn't matter. This time, keeping your hands right here. Feel if this is the same or different. I push more weight through my big toe on this foot. Good. Arms up. Again, just noticing those sweet spots. Make sure that knee isn't locked. Notice the fluctuation and how the sweet spot is in there. And then bringing it back down. Feeling that foot, that arch, and then dropping it down when you're comfortable. You never want to fall out of a pose, you always want to step out. And arms down. One more breath and we're going to go into our Savasana. Don't fold, just stand. And one more time, tips of the fingers on the thighs. And I just want you to touch wherever feels good. Coming down, coming up, front of the legs, back of the legs, waist, arms, neck, chest, back, head, face, everything that feels good. And then forward fold and step down and come into your Savasana. So if you want to rest on your knees, if you want to rest in child's pose, if you want to be on your back, whatever, just come into your rest pose. I'm going to come into mine in just a second. And breathe. Turn the lights down. And same thing. In your rest, just be aware of sensation and your body. And where your sweet spot is. And just like that balance, there's those constant fluctuations, but there's that sweet spot right in the middle. And I want you to think about how appropriate that is for life. How we're always being knocked off one way or knocked off the other way. But then we've got those moments of perfect balance in between. And how it's all about sensation and feeling. And only when we truly feel where we're at do we have any hope of correcting. When we're numb is when we fall. And then when we're numb and we're so focused on not being in balance, we don't know which way to correct, nor can we appreciate that sweet spot right in the middle. So I want you to think about that in your day, in your week, in your practice, in your life. Bringing sensation, and if you need to touch to bring sensation, do it. And as you touch, you become more aware. And it's not just about being not physically numb, it's about being not emotionally numb and not mentally numb as well. So as you're touching your body, you can also think about ways to touch your mind to create sensation. And about what it takes in order to create that sensation. So when you're ready, take a few deep breaths, start moving, and again, into that sensation, and find your way to a seated position. And again, feeling where you're at. And if you need to touch to remind yourself. And wherever your blockage is through the week, if you feel like you're having a hard time saying something, touch your throat. If you're having a hard time getting clarity, touch that third eye. If you're having a hard time finding your power, rub your solar plexus. Touch whatever needs activating. And namaste. Thank you for being here. Namaste. You're welcome.
Touch for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I like that. Crawl over. Goodbye.